You make an interesting point, and you mentioned that earlier as well, where I think the way that you proposed it was that there's a top-down regimenting of what is right and what is wrong. And
Yeah.
I see it definitely more as I don't think it's unilateral. I think it's bilateral. I think it's going up and down. And essentially what's happening is that the consumer is telling, I think it's a very small number of people, but the consumer is telling corporations what they want to see from the corporation, and the corporation virtue signals, and it just goes back and forth and back and forth.
Fair enough. I'd say but like, yeah. So there's a certain level of pandering, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the SJW, so in the 2014 was when the rise of like a YouTube pundit going, SJWs are ruining our movies, was kind of like a huge career that sort of exploded out of that era.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, they are, but they're also just trying to pander to an audience to get money. That's all they're trying to do. And if you keep going to the movies, it's going to keep happening. Because like if sort of the incel type is going to go to the movie regardless, then they've made that money. If they can expand their market to another sort of demographic, then it makes total sense to try to like see how far you can push messaging like that.
Mm-hmm.
There might be the odd, guy twisting his mustache behind a desk going, I'm ruining society or whatever. But I think you got to get pretty high to get there. I think a lot of the middle management tends to just do what's going to get them the most sort of, money and tail and like prestige. It's like, it's really nice to win a Nobel Peace Prize, whether that's a completely false award or not. And everybody likes you. Mm-hmm. Being called like Mr. President is probably, better than Viagra. Like it's probably like a really nice thing, to always be called that for the rest of your life. So yeah, like Obama won a Nobel Peace Prize in his first week of office, right? Or before he took office. It was just like, okay, well, his Nobel Peace Prize was for being like a mixed race like president basically, and then he went on to bomb like 9 countries. So I'm like, in the Academy Awards, it's all just patting yourself on the back. If you make a movie about movies and how awesome Hollywood is and how Hollywood's saving us from atrocities by making movies, then you get yourself an Oscar, right?
Yeah.
It's just, it's all just self-congratulating. And I think social media just amplifies that part of ego to an unmanageable level, and then we just end up, it's like nobody's producing anything of value, right? We're all just consuming and producing, like modifying ideas a little bit and regurgitating. We just become these sort of like echo points for other manufactured synthesized identity, if that makes sense. So it makes sense that like anything that goes against this level of like toxic consumerism is going to be labeled terrorism. Mm-hmm. Or white supremacy or evil or bigotry or whatever, right? And it's just like, somebody calls me racist, I go, well, I mean, like, yeah, like in the loose definition, I suppose in my mind, I have like certain profiling mechanisms that I have to fight with sometimes. Mm-hmm. I might have thoughts about other cultures, but I believe you guys defined racism as requiring institutional power. So I don't have institutional power.
Yeah.
Like policies do. Laws can be racist. And even to a very, like, if you want to get into the sort of a little bit softer definition, you can say that the implementation of laws can get racist because, like, if weed is legal for me and not for a visible minority for like a 40-year period, that's going to affect society. Like whether or not a cop actually enforces a law is a factor in that. So that I suppose is racist as well. But like a single joke can't be because it carries with it no institutional power, which is what, like, around that sort of culture war, what we were fighting about was saying like, okay, well, you can't be racist against me because I'm white essentially or whatever, right? Like that's the clearest example I could see. There was also the man-woman, male-female thing. I can't do that as much now because like I can identify as a woman in the middle of an argument and uno reverse anything somebody says to me.